Thank you, John, for the super chat. John with the super chat. Pow, pow, poo. Thank you so much. Joshua Seaton says, can I call too? Man, I used to get a lot of calls at work. There's calls all the time. When I worked for my father, then there was even more calls back in the day. And that was at the dawn of cell phones. So we had the what was it? We had the Nextels, the blah, stuff, and we had the archaic bag phone was where I started a long time ago, and it didn't have caller ID. It just said call. I don't even know why I had to say call. I mean, you could hear the ringing. So I mean, I don't know why you had to say call for. So bag phone, and then to the MicroTac and StarTAC phones from Motorola, and then everything got sleek with the Razor. It was nice. It was a lot of phone calls. But I was watching NorCal the other night, and NorCal was talking about like the olden days as far as the 80s and 90s, and I could identify with some of it. NorCal's a little older than me. I think he's 50 something, another 55, something like that. I'm 43. So I understand a little bit about it because I've had to make payphone calls, and we had to use maps and stuff like that. So, it's a different time. Maps sucked because now GPS is like, it's on the left, it's on the right. And it's sometimes it's, whatever. Hey, bag phones, Joe. Joe's like, bag phone? How old am I? Man, Zach, did you stop before tablets? There were no tablets when I started. That's for daggone sure. Thank you, Matt T. I appreciate that. I'm going to assume that's because of the great comedy at the beginning of the show. And you guys are inspiring me to make more comedy. Because if I make more comedy, that means you guys are going to super chat again. So I'm going to make them funnier and funnier until I just fall apart and can't do it anymore. We'll see what happens. See if there's a psychological break. Maybe the comedy will continue to increase. Corey Peter says, going to be honest, from an owner's position, I should bring the chat up on the screen too. That would be a good idea since we're going to look at it. All right, here we go. Going to be honest, from an owner's position, there comes a time when you have to choose your techs over the customers, can't work them to death, and then criticize them when the mistakes are made afterwards. There's truth to that. Absolutely. Joshua Seaton, thank you. Celebrate the first super chat from Joshua Seaton. YouTube tells me all this great stuff, guys. Fantastic. Thank you, Joshua Seaton. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Joe Shear said the only tablets were the 10 Commandments. That's right. There was stone tablets, and Moses broke them. You know what I'm saying? He broke his, just like every other tablet in the world. Dropped it, broke it. Everything HVACR said had to carry the on-call pager. Yeah, we had page. I don't know if I ever carried the pager though, but there was a lot of pagers out there. It might have been a thing where in the early days when I wasn't in charge of anything except for going to get somebody tools or whatever, I didn't have any way of contact. It was just whoever, fly in here now, I guess. Whoever was in charge of the job, my brother or my father had some way to communicate. And then I just like, can we go somewhere? Can I call somebody? Whatever. I didn't get to call anybody. And let's see here. Thomas, blah, blah. Yeah, got some maps out there. Lots of maps, guys. Lots of maps. So I'm glad those days are gone because GPS is a lot easier, a lot less stress. So you don't have to go, which street was that? Did we just pass it? What street was that? Had to do that all the time and be like, did they say the house was white? They said cream. Did they say the shutters were blue? They said cobalt. We get into problems like that. Joshua Seaton says, finding a payphone in Seattle that wasn't full of crap and urine was tough. I heard Seattle is a wasteland, and it hasn't gotten any better since then. I don't know. I don't think so, judging from the news. But the payphones, they were a hotbed for some vulgar language. Some girls of the night would put their numbers on there. So, there you go.